Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cake Burger News Roundup. My name is Steve.
My name is Mike. And on this episode of NPR, I
was gonna try for a Walker Cronkite. Like, this is Cake Burger News Roundup. I figured I'd go for a little somber. Was it called NPR? Is that what it
I
is?
think so, yeah. We always made fun of my aunt because she'd go up to bed around 5, me and my brother. But now we're both slowly turning into her by going up to bed earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
And my brother, and the reason why I brought it up is because my aunt never watched NPR, but mostly old people watch NPR. Sorry, old people watching this. Sorry, Ken. But he watches NPR now, and when he told me that, I made fun of him for a week straight.
There's some famous newscaster who my dad used to listen to all the time on NPR, but for some reason I keep on thinking it's Hugh Downs from 2020. I'm Hugh Downs, and this is 2020. But this is none of those things, though. So,
no, we already did our 2020 video.
All right, that's enough tangents for what. Right? We've already gone too far.
Well, we say that's enough, but we both know, and the viewers know that we're gonna go on another tangent, probably one way or another.
I know it's such like a punk rock college podcast we're running here. So punk rock. But anyway, we get some stories for the week past weekend, and some geeky, nerdy news. Before we start off, though, I want to tell you guys to make sure you check out the rest of the videos in our channel. We got a lot of good stuff in there. Remember to like and subscribe and to hit the notification bell. Give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Give us a big thumbs down and say, hey, don't quit your day job, and also quit your side job on YouTubing. If you don't like what you see, either way, the interaction is great. I need that human interaction.
And if you want to hear like I have a stroke when I'm playing Legend of Zelda because I can't figure out the audio issues yet, come for that too.
That'll be the next video. We at the end of the video we have the related links. I'll put that link in the video so you guys can watch that. It's gold.
And give me any helpful tips. I think I'm 98% there with that Elgato stuff. I know I mention this almost every podcast and every video game one I do, but I'm literally almost there.
I'm gonna get you a T-shirt that says I almost got that Elgato thing together.
Or we'll do better next time. That'll be our mark.
Something. But anyway, Mike, let's get to the news before it's ancient history. A couple of things happened on Monday. It's kind of hard to do these news recaps now because it used to be on Friday things would happen or the weekend things would happen. Now Marvel's releasing trailers on Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
We got a trailer during the Emmys. God help you if you had to watch that. But they had a trailer for Wandavision coming out on Disney Plus, which was supposed to come out this year, but now it's coming out sometime in 2021.
I thought it was coming out in December.
I thought it was coming soon.
So yeah.
I know.
End of the year, I think.
Okay. Well, it's coming out not right now. It's coming out pretty soon. We saw some quick spots during the Super Bowl this past year, but this one we got a full-on trailer. What did you think, Mike?
I thought it made me more excited to watch it because I think we may or may not talk about it in passing of just two dudes talking about it. I really feel like this is going to be setting up a House of M type event.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's going to go batshit crazy. And in House of M, she went batshit crazy and whatnot. And I really think that this is, instead of it being no more mutants, she creates mutants because we don't have mutants yet.
That's the thing. I heard people saying like, "Oh, MC" on like Instagram and stuff like that. People saying MCU fans are gonna freak when she says no more mutants, and it's like, well, you have to have mutants first, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think she's still gonna go bonkers. I think she's gonna create an alternate reality type thing, where it's gonna be a new Avengers, House M. I think that's gonna be the next big Avengers event.
It seems like a little mishmash of House of M and Tom King's Vision series a little bit, where it's kind of like that Donna Reed kind of suburban life. It looked pretty cool. I mean, I was really looking forward to the show to begin with right now. It looks a lot different than anything we've seen so far. A lot of people complain that Marvel has like a certain like blueprint they follow, and it's all kind of like cut paste and like repeat for a lot of them. But this looks a lot different. It looks very sitcom-y, which is supposed to be. It has the stages of not just sitcoms throughout the ages, but also stages in a relationship. There's one scene in particular I like the scene where I mean, there's so many good stuff like to watch when you watch this trailer. But there's one part where he has like the little having the neighborhood dinner with like the I'm assuming the next door neighbors, which is Kitty from that '70s show. She really likes.
Yeah,
And then they had like the husband kind
that's
of
the best part to watch it. If that's it, just for
yeah.
her.
And they had like the part where the husband's kind of like, where are you guys from? When did you move here? How come you don't have kids? And he's it's kind of almost looks like a Matrix kind of like glitch thing happening.
Yeah.
And then they also have like the part with the lady in the car saying like, am I dead? And she's like, why would you think that? He's like, oh, because you're dead. And she kind of freaks out for a little bit. And I don't know if Marvel, see, that's the problem when Marvel announced these shows like this show, Moon Knight and Blade. It's like I want Marvel to kind of explore more dark aspects and more fringe aspects of the Marvel universe, but I'm afraid they're not going to go as far as I want them to go. And with Wanda and also with Vision, like, it's a very like, cerebral kind of like deconstruction of these characters a little bit. And I really kind of hope they really go into like, I think it's only like 10 episodes, something like that. But it looks movie quality. And I like how they have the throwbacks to the costumes. Obviously there's a Halloween episode obviously in there that shows Wanda in a comic book costume and Vision.
I hate when people online complain about that. They make fun of that. Like, oh, they did this with the Captain America suit too. And like, if they really put their effort in, they made it exactly like that, more real like that, it would look great. I'm like, no, it wouldn't look great.
Well, I think they think that Marvel's making fun of them. I remember on the Netflix shows they did that. They had like Luke Cage with Ciara on, stuff like that, and they had like the little callbacks like Iron Fist. And I think they think that the movies are making fun of the comics, and it's like they're not making fun of. They're saying, hey, they're giving you a little wink, like, hey,
I feel like it pays homage to it.
It does pay homage to it, I feel.
And Captain America: First Avenger, I actually thought that suit looked better than his actual suit that he got shortly after.
I like the one where it has like the pouches and like the kind of like section, like the body armor and stuff like that. Yeah. We had this conversation with Denny, our friend from the comic book shop, where he refused to see Captain America because he didn't have the wings on the.
He also refused to see Thor because he didn't have his helmet on.
Yeah, and when Thor did with a helmet in the first movie for like 2 seconds. But the thing is, like with things like Captain America's wings and like Wolverine's like yellow suits, like you think you want those things, but you don't want those things. Like some things just don't translate well to the
only certain characters can have their suit look almost identical to the comic books. Iron Man being one of them, and Spider-Man.
And Vision's costume does kind of look like how. I mean, this is a more streamlined version. Like they do take. I mean, for some characters, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Hawkeye. What they did with him.
Hawkeye's will look absolutely ridiculous if you had the comic book one.
Yeah, it looks stupid.
I don't care how much of a fan you are of comic book Hawkeye look in the comic books. It wouldn't work.
I do like what they do with Wanda though in Age of Ultron. They kind of gave her like kind of like a gothy kind of like look. The dog, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it looks great. I'm looking. Like I said, I was already looking forward to this show. They showed Monica Rambeau in there. She's supposed to be in this show. I think there's some. They showed the two kids, Speedy and Wiccan, the Young Avengers. But that's something I'm going to touch on in a minute. And so, I mean, it looks good. It looks movie quality. I said before, I'm not looking forward to, like, before we were like, I think Marvel's kind of lost some momentum. But then they throw this in there, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm back on board.
I mean, I wasn't excited about this until I saw the trailer. Now I am.
Yeah.
Now that I kind of understand where they're going with it, she's gonna have a mental breakdown at the end of this.
And she is supposed to be in Doctor Strange, multiverse of Madness. So I mean, like, so I think that's when we're gonna see the whole like House of M, like her like Avenger disassembled type Wanda. But yeah, I mean that's my take. I'm looking forward to it. I was already looking forward to it. So I mean, like, I asked my sons, like, do you want to see it more now that you've seen a trailer? I'm like, no, I've always wanted to see it. Same, The other, so moving on, we got some more Marvel Universe, two actual Marvel Universe castings. The first one we'll get to is the She-Hulk casting, which is Tatiana Maslany. Maslany, is that how you say her name? She's from Orphan Black and the new Perry Mason show that was on miniseries that was on HBO. I've never seen Orphan Black.
Either of them, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's weird that they said they were looking for an Alison Brie type, and then they didn't cast Alison Brie. Who's finishing up Glow right now, so it's been the perfect timing for her. But I mean, I don't know. The casting looks good. I mean, I don't really know much about the actress, which is kind of good for me. I think unknown's a good way to go for a lot of these characters, because a big name kind of takes you out of the character sometimes, I think. The internet seems to be unanimously agreeing with this. I guess she kind of looks like what's his name? Who's Hulk?
Eric Band. Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. So I mean, but he's not. They're cousins. They're not like brother and sister. So
Yeah, as long as they keep the cousin storyline going and the lawyer storyline, then I'm all for it. Mark Ruffalo will be in this as a guest appearance.
I heard there's gonna be multiple Hulks in it, like Red She-Hulk. So I don't know what. I mean, no, don't do that.
Yeah, but she may be the new Hulk moving forward. I know it's gonna piss off a lot of Hulk fans and a lot of uneducated new comic book fans are like, oh, why are they doing a female Hulk? Why can't they just stick with the original and come up with new content? I'm like, guys, I mean, read a fucking comic book for Christ's sake. Come on.
And it seems like a lot of people remember David S. Goyer, the guy who wrote The Dark Knight, and he wrote a bunch of comic book stuff like Blade, and he said that Marvel invented She-Hulk so Hulk would have somebody to bang, and it's like you're such an idiot.
I think he kind of did maybe in the fucking not World War Hulk.
Old Man Logan.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other animal.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's supposed to. I mean, a lot of these characters they're introducing are supposed to go forward into the movies. I don't know. I mean, what kind of She-Hulk? Would you rather them go for like the John Byrne cheesecake She-Hulk? Would you rather do like the Dan Slott lawyer, like Ally McBeal type take on it?
I'd rather go with the lawyer, Ally McBeal lawyer, because I really don't want to see the current She-Hulk because we already have that with Mark Ruffalo Hulk, who as of now we don't know whether or not he's coming back. He's never said he is or isn't. So that's all in the air. We're never gonna see a Hulk solo movie, I don't think.
No, you won't.
If anything, he'll be on Disney Plus and whatnot. But I mean, let's be real. With everything that's going on, mostly all these new movies now are gonna be streamed right to your computer or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, if anything, they're not going to be what you're not going to see $2 billion movies anytime in the next 5 years at least.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is, guys. That's what movies are going to be from now on, I think.
It was just fine with me. I mean, I watched The Boys. Looks great.
Boys is fucking amazing.
Even shows like What We Do in the Shadows, which is like a very small CG, but I mean it gets the job done, and it's enough where it's like, okay, I like it. But I mean, from what I've seen of WandaVision, looks good to me. I mean, and plus like Mandalorian, they have all kinds of technology now where they really don't need like the big, huge sets they used to have back in the day. Yeah. But yeah, I hope they go the Dan Slott version of She-Hulk. I really, really enjoyed that series. It was really great. I recommend somebody pick it up.
How long has she been a lawyer for? She's been a lawyer for quite a while, right?
She's always been a lawyer. Jennifer Walters. There was for a while she wasn't turning back into Jennifer Walters, and then in Civil War II or whatever it was, they kind of did the PTSD She-Hulk thing, which a lot of people are not a big fan of the big monster.
I mean, I wouldn't mind occasionally because it would have to happen, given the character that she occasionally should go rampaging She-Hulk and whatnot, and it could be something that would be a good thing where she's trying to not become that way, or it could be something he embraces the Hulk, the She-Hulkness, instead of Banner, who kind of hides from it almost.
That's what for some reason I can't think. I said her name a million times. Jennifer Walters. She was kind of very shy, timid, girl. But then when she was a Hulk, she liked being the Hulk, and she liked being this big, massive sexual being and stuff like that. My son actually had a great pitch for the Hulk where he wanted Rebel Wilson to play the Hulk.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Once he put that idea in my head, now I'll be watching She-Hulk on Disney Plus, whatever. But I kind of want that. I live in that world with that Rebel Wilson She-Hulk movie came out.
And you had to she started to be British. You got to keep the British voice if she was going to do.
Yeah. Oh no, she's what is she from? From Australia, New Zealand. That's what she is.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi. Speaking of more casting news, we get news that the villain for Ant-Man 3 is going to be Kang, played by Jonathan Majors from what's that show? It's on HBO. Lovecraft Country. I've been wanting to see Lovecraft Country, but I don't have HBO right now. I'm waiting for the Snyder Cut to come out to get that HBO subscription, so I'll watch it then. Kang. Okay. What do you think? First of all, what do you think about Kang being in Ant-Man 3?
I think that's a great idea. You send up another big villain. Because who else do you have in the? I mean, Marvel has great villains. I'm not going to take that away, but who is a big enough villain other than Galactus that you can use?
Yeah.
That can wreak havoc across the, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's one that can do that.
The thing is, he's a big villain,
Yeah.
And you're putting him in Ant-Man 3. I had kind of a theory right now. This is like a Hail Mary for Peyton Reed, who's directing Ant-Man 3, to Kevin Feige. And I'll explain. I think this movie is going to be like on par with Civil War, Captain America Civil War, where you just had a bunch of different cameos in there. Peyton Reed has already said that this is going to be the biggest out of all the movies he's done with Ant-Man. It's going to be epic in scale. Peyton Reed has also made no secret that he wants to direct Fantastic Four. And for him, he has this pitch where it's like Hard Day's Night, only with like Fantastic Four and everything else. But I think considering that Ant-Man's been the least successful performance-wise out of all the Marvel movies, I think Feige might be kind of like, well, how about this? You give me a big movie, and then you can have Fantastic Four.
And I liked all the Ant-Man movies. I thought they were all great.
And well, the thing is, I don't think this is going to lead into Fantastic Four, but I think because with Kang, like he's a bunch of different. He's a Mortis, and he's also Iron Lad from the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to be doing with Kang right now, I think Kevin Feige is like, all right, well, give me something, make me some money out of this movie, and not just like Ant-Man being success, but more money going forward. I think Marvel is seriously setting up the Young Avengers. You already have them popping up. You have America Sanchez showing up in Doctor Strange. You have what's her name? I forget the girl. I think I forget the name of the American character in Young Avengers, but possibly showing up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. You have Speedy and Wiccan showing up in Wandavision. And
you're also having the skulls be there too, and you can also have the key as well.
Yep, and I wouldn't be surprised also if you have a Marvel Boy show up in either Captain Marvel or in Inhumans. So I think right now you're going to have Kang. He's either going to transition. I don't think he's going to be a long-term villain. I think he might either turn into a Mortis, or I think they might solve their Iron Man problem either by having him turn to the young Kang from the Young Avengers. So I think Kang is kind of like Peyton Reed's wild ace in the hole to kind of like get that Fantastic Four movie by making this big, huge movie out of Ant-Man 3, which I mean really isn't like a big audience draw besides Paul Rudd, which is awesome.
The Fantastic Four, I would love if they kind of adapted the end of the Secret War, the current Secret War that came out 10 years ago or so, where they were kind of exploring the multiverse or whatever, or the negative zone or something like that.
The thing with me though, and like I hear a lot of people say the same thing you say, where it's like, well, how do you explain where the Fantastic Four has been? And I've had pitches too for that kind of thing. I mean, we all have our own ideas where it would be, but it's like at the same time, it's like, why don't you you don't explain where they were? It's like it's been 5 years since there's like a 5-year gap between when Thanos snapped his fingers and now. And it's like, obviously, there was like a superhero vacuum. Why couldn't Reed Richards in the Baxter Building just surface between now and then? You tell that story. That's their origin. It just happened in real time like this. I mean, you don't have to have him compete with Tony Stark, Reed Richards being the smartest man, or whatever. You kind of do like an ultimate Fantastic Four type take.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as Kang, I do like Kang. Avengers Forever is probably one of my favorite stories. And so, I mean, I don't know what they're going to end up. I don't think he's going to be a villain long term. Marvel usually doesn't do that with a lot of their villains besides Loki. It all kind of depends on how charismatic, I guess, Jonathan Majors is. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Young Avengers starred Riri Williams or Harley, for who I don't think Marvel does anything by accident, and Harley showed up at the end of the Avengers Endgame at Tony Stark's funeral. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Harley was like the man in the chair for like Riri Williams or even Tony Stark's daughter. I don't know. Yeah. Kate Bishop's also showing up in the Hawkeye show too. So I mean, you have the full Avenger, you have the Young Avengers being introduced. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ant-Man 3 and Kang is set up for Young Avengers, and kind of guaranteeing Peyton Reed's Fantastic Four gig going forward. Yeah. That's what I get for that story. We're gonna keep with. I have a couple other stories as far as comics go, but I have some more movie stuff. We'll kind of keep on with the comic books as far as Marvel and DC goes. Flashpoint, there's been this rumor going on right now that basically every living live action Batman and Robin is going to get a cameo in this Flashpoint movie.
You
including
mean 57-year-old Chris O'Donnell is going to still be Robin?
We'll go through them one
Because
by
he
one.
was like, he was 47 when Batman and Robin came out.
I was like, I gotta adopt this 33-year-old. you know, uh, we'll kind of go through the likelihood of all of them. Obviously, Adam West is going to be in them. I think if they did any kind of like CGI thing, that would be in poor taste. I hope they don't do something like that. Burt Ward, maybe. I mean, what else is he doing? Maybe they might have.
We saw how big he was. No offense to Burt Ward. We all gain weight. I am. You are. But he can't be Robin again.
No, but they might do something like a gag where he's at a Comic-Con, like, and he used to be
Yeah.
Robin, he's signing pictures or whatever. And we'll go through the rest of them. Ben Affleck definitely is showing up for a send-off or what have you. Keaton, I think, has already signed a contract, I guess, for some appearance, so he'll definitely be in it. Christian Bale, no fucking way is he in that movie. Christian Bale.
That Batman might be in it, but it's not going to be Christian Bale.
Christian Bale didn't even want to do the last two Batman movies. He said the only reason he did it because Christopher Nolan was directing him. So if Nolan's not involved, Christian Bale's not going to do that. He's already signed on to play a part in Marvel, which has been yet to be revealed. He tried doing the cash the check role with Terminator Salvation, and it almost ruined his career.
I don't know why. I actually really enjoyed that movie.
The movie's fine. I think the whole thing with the whole viral him freaking out on the lighting guy.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
I don't think you'll see Christian Bale come back for that.
He's every Terminator movie that's come out. There, I said it.
Who else? George Clooney. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he has any interest. He said he's done with that. He said that he's a room. I would personally love to see him, George Clooney, come back as
it's kind of tough to have Val Kilmer because he can't anymore either.
That's what I'm
have
gonna
those
say.
Batman come back unless they do different time period Batman ones like that.
Yeah,
but those Batmans are all the same Bruce Wayne as the Michael Keaton Batman. So.
Bring Clooney back if you want. That'd be kind of cool. Do kind of like a Kingdom Come type, like where he's in some kind of box suit.
Unless Michael Keaton is playing a different Batman.
Yeah,
Batman '89 Batman, but.
Please do not bring Val Kilmer back. Like, even if he wants to, like that. That's like when they used to have wheel out Dick Clark, for the last New Year's Eve party things. It's like, please do not do that. I love Val Kilmer.
I love Val Kilmer too, and I think he gets killed off in Top Gun, the sequel, if that ever comes out.
Yeah,
I think that funeral scene is him.
But we've seen Val Kilmer recently.
Yeah.
And also he made a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Just don't please, it would be great, but I mean, just I wouldn't. It kind of I just just don't do it. Nothing against Val Kilmer. I know he's a cameo in Top Gun. I don't know if they're gonna do it as far as that goes, but I just don't think a lot of people would enjoy seeing.
All you need to do is just get someone in a bat suit from the Batman Forever suit and the Batman and Robin suit, and that's all you need.
Chris O'Donnell. No fucking way is Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell. I've listened to They actually did I think it's 20th anniversary of Batman Forever recently. I was watching a documentary on that. They covered that, and they also covered Batman Robin. Chris O'Donnell did not enjoy his time as Robin, and he pretty much blames his career going on a downward spiral for being in those movies. And Batman Forever, he kind of he seems like he's okay, I tried it out and it didn't work out. Batman Robin, he talks about with such disdain, where it's I hated every minute of doing that movie. And
at one point he was almost Spider-Man too, I think.
Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah. Before Toby.
I mean, he looked great. I think honestly the costume looks great. I mean, forget the fact that he was 40 when when his parents died, and then in the circus.
There's no way. Some actors can pull off playing a teenager, but when you're in your 30s, it's hard to pull off playing a teenager.
Yeah,
maybe when you're 21, 22, 23, maybe even 25. Because I think Tom Welling was 23 or 24 when he was still playing a teenager, and he pulled it off. Yeah. In Smallville. But when I saw that as a kid, I thought those movies were awesome, and I'm like, why is Bruce Wayne adopting a 30-year-old?
Al.
Yeah.
I think I expected Alfred to be well, your wife and children be joining us, Master Dick. Yeah. No, I'm divorced, Al. That's why I do my own laundry myself so hardcore. But, so yeah, that's. I mean, I so far it's just rumors anyway. I think maybe Keaton and Affleck are the only ones going to be making an appearance.
And I'm still 98% certain that this movie will be made. There's still that 2% that I'm like,
I think it'll be made, but I don't think it. I mean, like, okay, let's just not forget the fact that this is a Flash movie. Let's calm down with the Batman stuff.
Let's go Batman Flashpoint. Have Flash guest star in it.
Like into the Batverse.
Yeah.
So that's all pretty much all. Oh no, we have more movie news. What kind of movie news? Back to Disney. We're jumping back into Disney Plus. Mandalorian season 2 is coming out in October.
Awesome trailer.
Awesome trailer. What I hear though is we may not be getting Pascal. What's his name? Pascal Perry. Is that his name? I have it written down somewhere. Where is it? Right from Pedro Pascal. Pascal.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an artist. Pedro Pascal. From what I hear, he is not a big fan of having that mask on all the time, the helmet on all the time. And he kind of requested some scene, maybe a scene, not even like big scenes, but a few scenes where he gets to take it off and kind of like get some more recognition on his face. Like, hey, just so you know, like I'm Pedro Pascal, I'm not just a voice. Just seems like Baby Yoda or whatever. Because the other the other Mandalorians get to take their helmets off and everything else. So it wasn't that. I mean,
I'm pretty sure they did that in Clone Wars, and that in Clone Wars is canon.
Yeah,
so.
And they even do it in Mandalorian with other Mandalorian people.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess it was like a no-go with Dave Filoni and all these guys saying, nope, this is the character. To the point where, and at that point, I guess Pedro Pascal became difficult to work with. And so I guess there was one point where he actually went over Disney's head and went to Lucasfilms, which Disney's not a fan of because Lucasfilm was already trying to like make their inputs like that and kind of like waiting out Kathleen Kennedy's contract to kind of swoop in. So I guess he went over their head, Disney's head to Lucasfilm, and that caused a huge blowout to the point where Pedro Pascal just walked. They said, you know what, maybe you should just go to Pedro Pascal, and he just kind of left the set. None of this has been confirmed. I've officially, I've heard people confirm it in multiple different sources, but so it seems like maybe the reason why they're introducing all these characters because they may not be Mando back. A lot of people say like, oh, you have a pretty sweet gig where you're just doing voiceover work and his voice it would be noticeable if you change the voice of him. And I do like Pascal. I can't wait to see him in a Wonder Woman. But I mean, from what I hear, I mean he may not be Mandalorian going forward. Which
it's a shame too because that's really the best Star Wars that's come out of Disney.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, we all know our hatred for the new episodes, the new movie episodes and whatnot, and how
it's a waste of potential, pretty much. Yeah. And
it's a shame that they retcon that for all the actors that are involved because it wasn't the actors' fault whatsoever. They this was their dream job, and they're like, well, this is my dream job to be in a Star Wars movie, and they think everything's going great, and then this is the shit they get, Well,
it's funny for hearing from you, someone who's like, I have no fucking interest in Boba Fett, and then all of a sudden you have like a Boba Fett type character, and you're like, this is the best Star Wars.
Let me get it started. A little tangent, real quick, fellas and everyone. Boba Fett is completely useless. All right. Now I get it, Mike. You gotta read the comics. Okay, great. I get that he's cool in the comic books. I get that. He was cool in Shadows of the Empire when I fought him in Slave 1. Somehow Dash Rendar can kill him in Slave 1. But literally in the movies alone, he's useless. He does nothing. Nothing. He gets beat by a blind man. He didn't even catch Han Solo. Darth Vader did. He put him in the thing, and then he gave him to, Carbonite and gave him to fucking, I'm so mad because I've
Jabba.
Boba Fett, thank you. He shoots at Luke because he hears him in the background. That's it. Like, he did nothing.
But you know what? That action figure is boss, though.
See, that's what made him popular because he can shoot a missile out of his backpack. And then parents got afraid that they're going to shoot their eye out, so then they released it, and the missile wouldn't, come out at all anymore. So
that's Mike's Boba Fett's his beef for Boba Fett.
I just don't get the love for it unless I get. I don't know.
So anyway, that's the story we have on Mandalorian. Maybe there'll be Mandalorian season 3. Maybe if there is, it might be different. It might not be starring the same cast we're used to right now. A couple of cast members under fire. I forget the name of the girl in that show. She was in Deadpool 2. Deadpool 1. She's been
I've got her name too, but she said I think something about
she had some hot water or some trans comment. What else was I gonna say? Kathleen Kennedy also made a comment too. It was like where she didn't really get into it, but this before any of this even kind of became rumor, where it was like, you guys have no idea how lucky Mandalorian 2 you are that it even came out, and that could have meant like just shooting schedules because of COVID, or it could even meant like what we're talking about right now as far as like Pedro Pascal being walking off set allegedly.
Yeah.
So that's our story on Mandalorian. That's pretty much what we get for live action comic book news, pretty much. I got a couple of small little geeky comic book related news tidbits. One, which I don't really care that much about, but it was just kind of like I saw it in the news headline, so I figured I'd mention it. Dan DiDio, who we've devoted multiple episodes to, who used to be the publisher of DC Comics, is now on a new gig where he's teaching comic book, what is it? Comic book development down at the Joe Kubert School.
Guys, if you're listening, if you're new to this channel and you're thinking of going to that school, I highly recommend you don't draw any sidekicks whatsoever, or he'll fail you. Stick to the big three, or even Marvel characters. Just no sidekicks. You'll be fine if you do that.
I'll give you guys a little cheat sheet for the final every semester. Reboot every 5 years. That's the blueprint to every comic book. Dan DiDio. If you're building a universe, set it up, gritty, no sidekicks, everybody's young, and then you reboot it after 5 years with a crisis. But don't call
and
it.
And then repeat the same storyline.
Yeah,
no
rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, again, no ill will. The guy's a nice guy. He made a lot of great comics from DC came under his watch in the beginning anyway, not so much in the later half, but yes, I mean, nice to you landing on your feet and you have a paying gig when a lot of people aren't working, Dan. The other thing we have also DC. DC announced Future State, an event that's coming in January. DC already has an event called Endless Winter coming up right now in December also, which is kind of winter related. Looks like a little bit of like Viking kind of Avengers 1000 BC type, only DC. This one also looks a little bit akin to a Marvel storyline. It looks a little bit like we mentioned before, Avengers Forever, where I guess it has a lot to do with two things. 5G, which I think Jim Lee has said has been canceled, is in. They're gonna release it in some mini series or some one shots. I think this is gonna maybe kind of. I think they have a bunch of pages of comics where they have nothing to do with right now, and they're trying to find a way to release.
It seems like DC's going back and forth on the 5G event, and in previous podcasts I said this would have been a great idea if it was on another Earth and a parallel Earth,
another imprint, pretty much like an ultimate,
or
ultimate
even something
DC.
like that where it doesn't affect the main line. So that way you get new readers on while keeping the stubborn old readers like us.
Yeah,
we can be stubborn sometimes, but that way you can get that 5G story, which I think would be great if it was its own universe or imprint or
From what I've understand from some people, it has a lot. If you guys read Detective 1027, Dan Jurgens' story in there, I guess has something to do with this storyline. It sounds a lot like DC also had a Future's End back in their New 52. There's aspects of it that sound kind of like that, but when all is said and done, it kind of really sounds like it's just like I feel like when Marvel kind of stopped publishing comics and DC just kept on kind of going during the whole COVID epidemic, I think they're kind of running out of stuff, to be honest with you. And they, I think next year you're going to see, especially with everything that's happened as far as the layoffs and that kind of thing going, a lot of books being canceled and being streamlined. I think you're going to see kind of not a relaunch, but kind of like a kind of a big difference happening in 2021 as far as DC goes, as far as the publishing initiative and characters go. It kind of seems like there's a little bit of filler between now and then. They need some padding in between that and what they have left as far as stuff they have to publish. It reminds me a lot of remember when DC moved to Burbank from New York and they had that Convergent storyline where they kind of no books being published besides the Convergent storyline.
Those were good stories. I like those a lot.
That's when we get our Superman that we have now right now. So I think right now it's I don't know what they're really about. It seems like it's padding pretty much until the next publishing initiative for DC comes. Where you see DC, what DC is going to be going forward post AT&T acquisition. Yeah, that's what I got for that pretty much. Speaking of stream things that are happening because of the AT&T acquisition, DC Universe. Are you subscribed to that, Mike? You don't have that, right?
Not yet, no, because it wasn't really worth getting, and everything's
Oh,
been coming out on DVD anyways that I wanted to watch. So
I don't think you need to get it right now because now it's being transformed after this year to DC Universe Infinite, which is they're getting rid of all the content as far as animation goes, the Harley Quinns, the Doom Patrol, and all that stuff is going over to HBO Max. I think the animated series are also. You got a new you got we talked about before, a new season of Harley Quinn, new season of Doom Patrol, new season of Young Justice coming out. Um, and it's basically turned into their comic book hub, pretty much, which is funny because Mike, I do remember we did this video a couple months back before COVID saying how we would fix DC, and we kind of put a bunch of like ideas what we think DC should do in order to become a better, more competent DC, successful DC, and a lot of these things seem to be kind of like we're coming like it's almost like profit like
yeah, somebody is listening to this channel, but they aren't subscribing. So if you're listening, do us the honor of subscribing.
Basically, what I said in that video was what DC should do with DC Universe is Marvel has Marvel Universe right now, Marvel Unlimited app right now, which they have their digital comics right now. It kind of sucks because they have like their 6-month lag right now.
Which is insane. I don't understand why it would be like that, but
I understand because they don't want to like just completely cut off the retailers right now, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And so DC basically is doing the same thing pretty much. Marvel Unlimited I haven't used before. I don't know if they have collections. One thing I do like about DC Unlimited right now is DC Universe, the app right now, is they have all their comics right now up until I think about like maybe 5 or 6 months, kind of like Marvel does. But they also have collections pretty much where it's like you can like you want to read the Death of Superman? We've collected every Death of Superman together. Nightfall, same thing, and they have like all the different runs, like Peter David's run on and they kind of like break them down between like runs and like writers and stuff like that.
And that would be great because there's stories that I want to reread. Like, I mean, once a year I reread the Clone Saga. I'm actually doing that now. It's my time to do it. But like, there's so many other Spider-Man stories or even Captain America stories that I don't have to trade for.
Yeah.
That I, like the site that I go on, I gotta like dig through it to get to it.
And you don't want to have to like go through. Okay, I don't like an appendix or not appendix. Disc. I don't know what the word is. I haven't read a physical book in a long time.
Index or
and then whatever to kind of find out what issues or which ones you read, like in order. DC does kind of a good job of kind of breaking down for you, pretty much, which I enjoy a lot. They're charging. I mean, a lot of people kind of noticing how it's like they're getting less for the same amount of money, pretty much, because you're still paying. I think it's like I think it's like $6.90 or like $6 or $7 a month, or you can pay like the $70-something, $80 a year, which what I did pretty much. So I had that one payment. But I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty. I mean, like I think DC needed that. I think I'm not a fan of Comixology, as far as like their interface goes.
I've hated them since they got rid of the pull list.
They get rid of the pull list. They're always crashing, and you're always like having a hard time downloading and getting your books and stuff like that. Like I said, I haven't used Marvel Unlimited, so I don't know how that goes. I think eventually, not right now, you'll probably eventually see them kind of get rid of that 6, but maybe it'll go like a month back. Like you'll have a month like buffer between like new issues and the current ones. So yeah, I mean that's basically we kind of called that. We said like DC should turn DC Universe into the hub, switch everything over to HBO Max, and it's come true. So yeah, I mean that's what's happening with that. You got any other news, Mike? Or
there's some video game news. It may be new to some of you, maybe old to someone. A lot of is, but start off with the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
that's out for the PS5. We learned recently that we're going to be getting a remastered Spider-Man PS4 on PS5, and the Miles Morales story is a full-length story. We're also going to be getting the Miles Morales story on PS4, which is great for people like me who aren't going to be getting one until next year, because when new systems come out, I'm not going to get it on launch day because there's going to be nuts down there and whatnot, and to get these pre-orders nowadays, you got to be there just like that. And you saw these shithead scalpers on there buying like 20 of them and then selling them for double the price. Why anyone would do that to pay double the price when you wait a few days or even a year? It's still going to be there. But it's good for me because, like I said, I'm gonna be waiting until next year because I want to make sure all the bugs and whatnot are worked out out of it. So that's good news for me and for PS4 people who can't afford the PS5 right away, who
I'm
loves
just
Spider.
tough.
Yeah, I mean, and it's leading into the next event, the next story that I'm going to tell you guys. It is time and stuff to be able to buy two different systems. You know, they're $500 a piece or $499. And the PlayStation and Sony, they're coming out with two models: the digital and physical model, and then just the regular digital model, which is like $100 cheaper than the digital and physical one. I'm gonna be going for the digital and physical one because I still like. I mean, if I show you when I do my game room tour someday, you'll see I love physical media. So that's great news for people like me and people who aren't going to be getting the PS5 right away. And this leads me into my next one. Microsoft bought Bethesda. I think I said that right. So this news kind of sucks for
God
people like
bless
me.
you.
Oh, you rascal. But they
late on that one too.
yeah. Bethesda is they do Fallout, they do what else they do? Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, Doom, just to name a few.
All the game my brother plays, and I just sit there and watch.
I mean, I'm not losing any sleep over it yet because Fallout 76 was garbage, and they haven't released a new. They released a new Elder Scrolls not too long ago, but Skyrim, they keep remastering that fucking game. That game's been out since PS3. It's been new on PS3 for Christ's sakes. Not now, but years ago. They remastered it for the PS4, Xbox One, the Switch, you name it. It's been on every system. I have no doubt that we're gonna see another remastered of Skyrim on Microsoft. But what that means is that they said that on a case-by-case basis, these games will be released on other consoles. Meanwhile, Nintendo's like, that's not gonna hurt us. We have one of your games that and Doom. So
Yeah.
The only thing for me, the biggest thing for me is that I love Fallout, and that there's a possibility I might not be able to play Fallout again because I'm never gonna get another Microsoft system ever since my 360 shit the bed. I didn't forget, you fucking pricks.
I was surprised that they still make Xboxes.
I mean, they don't have a lot of original content, but now they're gonna have original content like Doom. I think Outlands falls on Outer Worlds. I'm sorry, falls under that umbrella because I think the people that made Fallout Las Vegas are the ones that made Outer Worlds.
They do
that's
they're
under the same umbrella as Bethesda. So
they have Rare too, which they do nothing with. They make I see the new Battletoads game, and it looks like the Teen Titans Go version of.
Yeah, people getting excited on that line. I'm like,
Nothing.
I'm not really excited about that whatsoever. Not that we could probably beat it because they're probably gonna have that old dumbass jet ski level, like in the first.
I remember during the 2016 election, I remember Ben Carson, who was running for president. Yep. I remember one of his big selling points during his when he was trying to become president was saying that he beat Battletoads in one sitting without dying once.
If he does that, he has my vote. He could be the worst fucking president ever, but if he can do that, he has my vote. I'm telling you that right now here on this podcast.
I really want to find out if that's true or not. I don't know if that's something someone just made up for a meme, but I would love for it to be true. Ben Carson beat Battletoads.
My whole thing was now Sony needs to buy Rockstar so they can get the Grand Theft Auto games, and they can get all the games that fall into that umbrella of goodness. So they can be like, well, hey, you guys bought all these Bethesda, all these great games. You may not let us have it, but we have Rockstar. You want Grand Theft Auto? You give us give and take. But
aside from Nintendo, I hate exclusive content for games. I wish I don't know. Obviously, I don't want like a PlayStation Mario game or like that stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I guess for like every system needs their mascot. Like PlayStation needs like its Lara Croft and like Crash Bandicoot, and that kind of thing. But I do miss the
I think
days.
now it's Spider-Man because they bought Insomniac, so
Yeah. So
that it's even going to further the no Spider-Man games on Xbox.
well, it is what it is.
There's a whole new console war starting up, and you know what? I'm not going to get that much invested like I did
Well,
back in
stop.
the 90s.
You stop it. Stop stoking the fire, Mike.
I gotta say though, guys, that book, Console Wars, is amazing. I'm almost done. Like I can read like 5 chapters in one sitting. I love it so much.
Did you ever watch I think it's High Score on Netflix?
Not yet, but they do talk about the Console Wars, and
Yeah.
this book is gonna be made into a movie. I think it's a documentary that's gonna be on CBS All Access, which like,
Oh, cool.
I might get it for a free month. You know.
You get a week for free, pretty much.
Yeah.
We did it for football a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah, Maria is my wife's brother. We watched Picard because he had for a while. So
Yeah, but
that's it for me. I don't got any other news really, other than some video game news. But
I'm all news that you stop the presses, not because we have any more news stories, but because just give the presses a rest right now. So yeah, I think it's gonna do it for this episode right now. I'm gonna give a nice somber send off right now. Thank you all for listening to our video. We appreciate you guys watching, and we really appreciate you guys as fans. There's more content on the channel if you guys want to check out. There's lots and lots of videos, and remember to like and subscribe. We hopefully will see you next time. And again, thanks for watching, guys.
yes, everyone likes my sweaty balls. When you talking like that, remind me of that Saturday Night skit where they're all talking like that. Christmas special, and we have sweaty on here. Everyone likes my sweaty balls.
So, cheerio and salutations. We'll see you next time. You're good enough. You're smart enough. And doggone it, people like you. Bye, guys.
No, do that way.